Hey guys, Amanda here with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about hotshot trucking. Tonight's going to be kind of a short video. I had a bit of a long day and I'm pretty tired, ready to go to bed, but if I don't do this video and get all of this information out of my head, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. So let's jump into it. Tonight I want to go over quickly the step-by-step load booking process. So this is for the very beginning stages. If you are a two-man team like my husband and I, maybe you have a very similar situation where your husband wants you to step up as the dispatcher. So here's how you do it. Before you even start, your hotshot trucker should know their rate per mile, or how much they need to make per mile to make a profit. I'll make a whole other video on how to calculate that later on down the road. So once you know what your rate per mile needs to be to make a profit, let's just say it's $2 a mile in this case. So you need to have a load board subscription. I have 3 different subscriptions. My favorite one and the one I have had the most luck with is Truck Stop, and I definitely recommend upgrading to I think it's called the Pro version. It's $150 a month, but it's definitely worth it. I just upgraded last week and I love it. It makes stringing partials together so much easier, and it's a live feed. There's no 1 minute delay. You're getting the loads live as they're popping up. So once you have your load board subscription, and you know what rate per mile you want, you need to find a load that fits your setup. You will call the broker. You will negotiate to the best of your abilities to get to as close to that rate as possible. So let's just say that things work out and you book the load. Woohoo! At that point, the broker is going to ask you for your MC number. Have that number memorized. Have that number written in big numbers right in front of you. I did not the first couple of loads that I booked, and I was having to shuffle through paperwork to figure out what our MC number was, and it just annoys the brokers. And and I'm sorry that I ever did that. After you give them your MC number, if they have determined that you are not set up with their company, they will then ask you for your email address. Well, they're going to need your email address no matter what. So MC number, then they will ask you for your email address. At that point, if you are not set up with them, they will send you what's called a carrier packet. In that carrier packet, along with the carrier packet, you will also need to send a copy of your MC authority letter. You'll get that after you get your MC number. So I would recommend scanning that into your computer and saving it somewhere where you can have real quick access to that. You're going to need it every single time you have to fill out a carrier packet for a new company that you're taking freight for. You will need what's called a COI, which is a certificate of insurance. Our insurance company's website's pretty handy. We can log on to there and get a certificate of insurance like that. I can get a downloadable version. Basically what you will do in that, or you can call your insurance company usually, and they'll fill it out for you and send you an email. But that will want the brokerage company's information on the COI. So you'll send that in. They'll want a W-9, and part of the W-9 you'll need to know your EIN number. I would recommend writing that down as well. Part of the carrier packet, they'll want to know your MC number, your DOT number. They're going to want to know how you would like to get paid. Some of the companies offer quick pay where they take a small percentage of the rate you booked it for, and you'll get paid within, like, it could be any time. It's usually within a couple of days. Most of the time, if you don't do that, you're not going to get paid for about a month. They'll want your factoring company information. The name of the factoring company, their address, their phone number, their fax number. And when they say remit payments to, that's where you would put your factoring company information. There will be this big long agreement. It's usually a couple pages long. All you have to do is initial each of those pages. There'll usually be a little spot down there for you to initial. It's all a bunch of legal jargon. Pretty much every carrier packet is the same, though, in those regards. After that, they will want to know, let's see here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the carrier packets. Sometimes they want references of companies that of brokers that you've already taken loads for. I've run into that enough times to where I've written down 3 good references. That way I always have them there, and I'm not digging back through old paperwork to try to find some. Sometimes they want to know your preferred lanes and your preferred zones, where you like to pick freight up from, where you like to drop freight out, what parts of the country you prefer to drive through. They also want to know what commodities you can haul: lumber, steel, grain, household goods. So whatever you can haul, you'll just check those little boxes. And they'll also want to know what special certifications you may have. Maybe you have your TWIC card. Maybe you can take hazardous loads. So you'll just check any of those boxes. So after you have filled out the entire carrier packet, you'll scan or fax all of that back to the broker. Sometimes they come with a cover sheet, and they'll be like 15, 20 pages, and maybe you've only had to sign or fill out like 6 or 7 of them. That's all you need to send back. They don't need all the other pages back that you didn't have to write anything down on. That'll just save you time. So once they have all of that, try to keep filling out your carrier packet down to, max like 10 minutes. There was I think just one time in the beginning where I took so long filling out a carrier packet that they went ahead and just gave the load to somebody else. So just, trying really hard to prevent somebody from making that same mistake that really sucked. We lost out on like $1,000. So after that, it'll usually take 5 to 10 minutes for them to get all the paperwork together on their end and get your profile put together. And they'll get a rate contract all written up. They'll send that to you. Definitely print it off. Look it over. That will have everything on it that you will need to know about the load. Make sure that the price you negotiated is correct. Make sure the dimensions of the commodity you discussed are correct. Make sure the dimensions of your trailer and your equipment that you discussed are correct as well. All of this is very important. Even if it is just the smallest thing, call them, email them right away, and let them know that you want that rate contract to be 100% correct. For instance, I had booked a load where it was, I don't remember what the commodity was specifically, but when I got the rate contract, the commodity listed was crates of work boots. And I was like, that's not what we talked about. This must be the wrong load. Like, what is going on? And it was just the broker just didn't feel like it was an old contract that for another load that he had booked, and he just didn't feel like changing the commodity. So I made him change it and send me a new one. But that, you know, you just have to make sure your own butt's covered and you have all of your ducks in a row before you sign anything. Yeah, so once that's signed, and looked over, scan it, fax it, send it back. Everything's good. Your load is booked. Your driver can go on his way. That's it. That's all that's to it. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. As always, if you have any questions for me or you would like me to do a video on a requested topic, leave it in the comment section, and have a good night. Till next time.